This man was digging when he noticed a bizarre scene. A hard lump appeared in the dirt under his feet. He hurriedly squatted down and peeled away the soil. Only then did he see a huge wooden box underneath. After wondering for a moment, Mike decided to lift the lid of the wooden box. This scared Mike. Inside was a large amount of dollars and a dead body. Was he hallucinating? So he lifted it up and took another look. Then he was sure that he was not mistaken. The box emitted a stench of money. Mike had the courage to take out a bunch of bills. He buried the box with dirt. He went back and got a pen. He scratched the bills a few times. Sure enough, it was all real American money. Was he about to become a rich man? After all, there were still countless dollars in the box. However, what Mike could not have imagined, this was just the beginning of his nightmare. Late at bedtime, there was a sudden eerie rattling outside the door. He thought someone had discovered his secret. Mike scrambled out of bed and opened the door, but there was no one outside. The next day when he went to work, Mike also looked careful. Terrified people would smell the money on him. At night, Mike couldn't wait to open the wooden box, then carried all the dollars home. After 3 hours of counting, holy shit, a full $5 million bucks? This is not a small amount of money. For insurance, Mike hid the bills in the storage room. After all, it was a fortune that flew in. The box also contained a corpse. Mike was hesitant at first. He stood there, wrestling with his conscience. Should he keep it for himself or report it to the police? After much mental struggle, Mike finally chose to keep quiet and become a billionaire. When he went to bed at night, Mike was once again awakened by a noise. He picked up a baseball bat and slowly went downstairs. However, it was another false alarm. It was still empty outside. Maybe because he was just too nervous. Mike went back to make a cup of coffee, but before he could get the coffee into his mouth, there was another noise outside the door. He immediately came to the door with his cup. It turned out to be a stray cat passing by. Before going to bed, he still opened the storage room to check, until he saw that all the bills were intact. Mike was relieved to go back to sleep. However, the next second, there was an old man outside the window. At this moment, there was no one outside. Could it be that the person in the wooden box ran out? Mike hurriedly went to lift the lid again. The body was lying motionless inside. To be sure, Mike also turned on the light of the cell phone, shook the limbs of the corpse vigorously. The next day, Mike woke up and realized both of his hands were covered with mud. Even the soles of his feet were a muddy mess. But he could never remember where he had been. Even weirder, when he came home that night, several muddy footprints appeared on the floor. He took off his shoes and compared them. Obviously, these footprints are not his. Could it be that the house broke into the thief? Mike rushed to the storage room to check. Fortunately, not a penny of the money was missing. Could it be that his daughter is back? He called her again, but she was dating her boyfriend. She never came home. Anyway, the money isn't missing. Then let's pretend nothing happened. Mike wiped the footprints off with a mop. Then he was ready to go back to his bedroom to sleep.